Good morning, guys. Today is my tip and technique Tuesday, so that means that I'm going to show you one or the other. And today is going to be, well, I guess you could classify it either or. I call it more of a technique. So what I did here is I crocheted a small piece here we're going to work with. And this is not going to be difficult. So as you know, when you're working a project and you come to see at the end where you may want to change your color, sometimes what we end up doing is just switching our color. You know, you'll take your new color and you'll wrap around here, or tie like sometimes a knot with this and your new color just so it doesn't come apart. But today I'm going to show you a neater technique to do. So let's get started with that. If you do not have a swatch piece crocheted up of about 3 lines, go ahead and do that. And all I did was single crochet. I think it'll work best to show that way. And once you've done that, you can hit play back on my video and pick up here where I'm fixing to start. So basically, when you decide that you're going to change your color, okay? So normally you're going to go into that last stitch and you would normally pull through if you were going to use your same color, but you're not going to do that. And let me reposition my camera a little bit. So normally you would go through there and you would wrap here, but we're not going to do that. We're going to join with another color today. Alright, so for that you're going to need a couple items. You're going to need, I've got just a little dab here of warm water, and of course you can use your finger, but ladies, this is where our bathroom utensils come into play. You can use a Q-tip, you can use an eyeshadow brush, or just a plain brush. You can use anything you have on hand, really. If you hear something go bang in the background, Candy's over here thinking she deserves more cat treats than the 5 I've given her. And she's not working yet, so she's not holding her own. So basically what you want to do is when you separate this piece, you want to leave a good amount. I would say at least 4 inches, maybe more. Okay? Then you want to take the color that you're going to join in. Now what this is going to be called is joining with a felted end or a felted slice. Now any of you that know anything about felting, when I'm going to use this, just this little piece here, when you felt, it requires you to use water, and then you're going to well, some of it works better on than others, but you want to rub in between your hands the pieces of yarn that you're trying to felt. But like I say, it works better with water. And then what you want to do is you want to pull your fibers apart like this, and you want to get them nice and fuzzy. Okay? And again, felting is a different process as far as felting an entire project, that I will get to that later. But this is how you felt something. You want to break apart the fibers just like this, and it does take you just a little bit of time, just a couple minutes to work with it. Okay, that's an example. Now what I've already done this here on my new color. Now when you fringe things out like this, you may need to trim the ends, because you do want your ends to be nice and even. And you want to pull this out a good, like I say, about 4 inches, give or take some. Alright, and then I did this one. Now I wanted to do this one with you. So what you'll do, and here Candy tearing up her bag of treats over here, guys, it's funny, is you're going to do what I suggested here on this last piece. You're just going to tear apart your fibers on the end here. Okay, and then you'll rub it apart. Some of it works much better, and of course it'll do a little funny little knotting thing here, and that's fine. What you're doing is fine. It's what it's supposed to do. So you just kind of want to splice like you would if you were doing cable wire, phone jacks, things like that. Okay, so now you have the part that we have ruffled up here. Now what you want to do is you could take any of these. I'm going to take the brush, and the water is going to help with this, and I will probably get a little bit here, and that's fine. You want to dab on some water. You don't want to saturate it, but you do want to get some water on here, and it preferably works best with a little warm water. Doesn't take much. Okay, and my hands are a little wet. So then what you want to do is you want to put your two pieces together, and then you're going to kind of felt them together. So you're just going to kind of rub them. Now, mind you, they're not going to be, you know, super tight together, but you see, once you do that, they somewhat become intertwined there. And again, you may have to felt your pieces a little bit more. I'm just giving you the general idea. Okay? So that will be a general idea of what you're going to have. Now what you're going to do is you're just going to complete your single crochet. Then you're going to chain one, and then you're going to go on around. And let's, like I say, some yarns it works better, others you just kind of have to manipulate it. See if we can get that to water down a little bit more. Okay, so then you're just going to kind of very easily, you're going to do your chain one. Okay, and then you're going to start working that yarn in. And it may be just a tad bit thicker. You'll have to adjust it. So see, then what you have is, instead of having a knot and tails and things like that hanging out from the end, and then what you're going to do at that point is, if you happen to have any little straggler pieces, you can trim those off. And the technique, it is a very neat technique, but you'll have to come in and just modify the little end scrap pieces a bit. But it does give a nicer joining technique versus having all the stragglers and end pieces and having to worry about sewing over the tail, things like that. So basically, this is what happens once you splice or felt your ends together. So you see how it just works its way, sort of like a color changing yarn that's going to automatically change by itself. And then we'll do one more row across here and go over the top of that and show you it works exactly the same. But you do want to make sure to get your yarn just a little damp, and you'll have to give it time to just dry a little bit, but it does give a neater, cleaner effect, I feel, in the overall project. So again, you just go in and you grab, pull through. You may pull out a little hairy part every now and then, but you can easily correct that. So as you see, there's no stragglers, no end pieces of yarn. There's nothing that you see laying through here like you would if you were sewing over the tail. But again, you'll have to do just a tad bit of trim work if you have any of your little fuzzies to pop out on you. Okay? And all that does is just add into the color. And this, is, of course, is a color changer anyway, so it looks like it fits right in. Okay? So this was my tip and or technique of the day or of the week. So just keep in mind that there's more ways than one to join your ends. And this, of course, was the felted splice technique. So use it, work with it, and see how you like it. It may be for you, it may not be for you. So you have to work with different tips and techniques and different things like that to figure out what works best for you. So, you know, it's an individual preference, and I tend to like it. It does take just a little work, but in the end it makes a big difference. Because I don't know about you, but I always have ends hanging out, and I don't think it's always a nice look to work over the tail, because if it's a very big contrasting color, you'll see it all the way through here, and I don't really care much for that. So this is Stitchinstacy, and this is my Tip and Technique Tuesday video. Make sure to please leave feedback, and if you have any ideas for the future as far as my tip and technique videos on Tuesday, I would be more than happy to hear what you have as far as your opinions, as far as maybe something you would like to see done. So I will leave my email in the description box below, and you can leave me any type of feedback you would like. So until my next video, happy hooking, everybody.